I pay around $30 a month to live in a house like this in Iran. I already made a video about my finances and how I live with just $200 a month in Iran. Many of you asked me on the comments of that video to give you a home tour. Here it goes, and it begins from the outside. The property is an originally traditional house in Iran which has been partly renovated. If this was built like 100 years ago, the door should have been built out of wood. But my landlord has decided to go with a metal door and make it like a traditional wooden door because it's cheaper and more secure. There's something interesting about the door. There are two door knockers. Women knocked on the door using the narrow one and men used the other one, so the host knew who was knocking on the door. If it was a man, the lady knows to wear her hijab. Let's get in. This is the parking area where I park my vehicle. I use it when I want to hang out with Harry Potter and other guys at Hogwarts. But seriously, this is called Dalan. This is a hallway which leads away from the street into the interior of the house. It protects the privacy of the house. It's been important to Iranians for religious reasons. When someone knocks on the door and you open it, that probable stranger can't see the interior, so your wife doesn't have to wear her hijab. We're talking about a period of time when Iranians have been quite religious. Dalans are typically longer and narrower. They are a great place to sit in the summer because there's a cool breeze blowing here and summer becomes more bearable in this part of the house. The door and the window have been added to the house during the renovation. Look at this beautiful lock. I really like it. I also like the colored glasses. You mostly see them in churches, but in Iran they are used in mosques and traditional houses. When light passes through them, a beautiful painting appears in your house. The walls are covered by a combination of mud and straw. It's been a common building material here in Iran. It also makes the area cooler when you spray water on it. And far from the cooling role, it also acts like a nostalgia because the smell reminds all of us of our grandmother's house, which has been something like this. Let's pass this area and enter one of the other rooms, which is also one of the coolest areas in the entire house. The landlord has turned it into a meditation room. Well, he meditates in a different way. I don't use it because I'm not a smoker, but during the summer, it's a great escape room, saving you from the heat. Let's get out and enter the courtyard. Sorry if it's a little bit messy. It's a large area with two residential parts. Originally, each part was used for a different season. One part was used during the winter because it gets more sunlight during the day and keeping the house warm has been really important. The other part gets less sunlight and it's really suitable for the summers because you can escape from the heat trying to kill you. You always see a small pool called Howz, which is mostly centered in the yard and it's surrounded by the gardens. We use it to water the garden. You can finish the garden in less than 5 minutes. We can also use it in the summers to take a dip. The water is really freezing and it cools down your body. The landlord's kids also use it to swim, play, and scream. Did I introduce you to my shy friend? Let's go. In the garden, we have trees and vegetables. November is coming and the garden can't show its maximum charm. We have grapes, apricot, jujube, pistachio, fig. It's a peach. I don't know. What is that? We have a bunch of trees. It's getting cold and I'm getting changed. We also plant vegetables, including eggplants, peppers, tomatoes, basil, I don't know, anything we can. It's taking me 2 years to make this video. Like and subscribe. My landlord is a really nice guy. He constantly tells me, why don't you pick some fruits and vegetables for yourself? Are you even listening? We also have a little bit of greenery here. You see the roses and vegetables here. The courtyard shows its real charm during spring and summer, but it is still beautiful until the winter comes and white walkers attack the whole village. We have 2 storage rooms, including this one. I'm both poor and single, so I don't have anything to store, so the landlord uses both of them. Before we leave the courtyard, let me tell you something about this part. My landlord lives here. They just come here on the weekends when I'm visiting my own family or just have a trip without my friends in Hogwarts. So we barely see each other. Let's get inside through Avan. Avan is an area which is higher than the courtyard's floor. We mainly use it during the summer. During the day, there is a shadow here, and you prefer to take advantage of it instead of using an air conditioner. At nights, you spread a carpet, spend time with your friends. There is a cool breeze, the fountain is working, and the sound of water adds to the ambience. You definitely play music and enjoy your time together. As you see, we have lots of windows here. The doors are wooden, and the interior is waiting for us. The door leads to this room. Here I record videos no one's watching, because the window is huge and I can take advantage of the natural light and make up my lack of equipment. When you live traditionally, you don't use a bed. So these are my blankets and my guests. This is the entry phone. You can check all the cameras that are set up all around the house. I want to show you something interesting. Look how thick the wall separating the rooms is. Just make a comparison with modern day apartments. So why is it so huge? Because you need to keep the house warm in the winter. It's also a protection against the heat in the summer. As you see, Persian architecture valued energy efficiency more than what we can imagine. And look at the ceiling. You can see a high semicircular ceiling which can exhibit better efficacy in controlling indoor temperatures. I have 2 other rooms. There's nothing special about them. There's no furniture. I don't know. I'm broke. So there's nothing to talk about. You can see my regular stuff. The fridge belongs to my mother's dowry. This is where I sit and come up with stupid ideas. And the only good thing about this room is the colored windows, giving me a great view of the courtyard, especially when it rains. I look at the outside while I'm listening to some great music and take a sip on my cheap coffee. Let's get back to the other side. And this is my small kitchen. I usually don't cook unless I have my friends around. It's pretty humble and there's nothing to talk about except for one thing. Do you remember the window in Dalan? Here it goes. It's not a view to Amalfi Coast, but still. At least there's a cool breeze getting in, especially in the summers. I was telling you. This is a forbidden place to film. This is the bathroom. This is the real parking area and almost 500 cars can fit in. We also have a zoo. We have chickens, peacocks and pigeons. The pigeons have the most luxurious life. For example, they have air conditioning. There's a chance they poo on my head, so I prefer not to show you inside. It's common to keep pigeons in Iran. There's a huge story behind it. There are races, gambling, all of that. But that is for another video. Before we say goodbye, let me tell you a bit about the rent. I pay around $30 a month. Even in Iran, it's ridiculously cheap. If you want to rent something like this with no landlord's visits on the weekends, you have to pay at least $200 a month. But my landlord is a really nice guy. There are houses in worse condition in my town which easily cost you 5 times more than my rent. At least one video a month is gonna be about Iran. So if you are interested, subscribe to the channel. This is Mana. See you next week.